Hey guys, it is Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. Man, I have got a monster today. We're going to learn how to do the little guitars intro. So we're going to do the whole song actually. We're going to do the intro here in this video, and then the next video in a couple days we'll do the actual little guitar song with all the electrical guitar stuff. But these are two separate tracks in a recording, so it allows me to make two videos out of it. But this thing is going to keep you plenty busy until I release the main track. So Eddie is using a nylon string guitar in this. I know he owned like an Ovation nylon string that he did a Spanish fly with. I'm assuming he probably used the same guitar for this tune. And on the recording, he's capoing the second fret. Why, I don't really know. Maybe it makes things a little bit, that kind of lowers the strings a little bit. So I don't know why. Live, if you ever see him back in the day when he does this in his solo spot, he doesn't have a capo on, but he's also not playing it in the same key as the album. So he's just kind of removing the capo and doing everything that I'm doing here down 2 frets since the capo is not there anymore. But we're going to do it so you can kind of match the recording here. And I'm using my new Faith Lyra guitars. This Faith guitars is a Lyra model. So this is a little bit easier to pick on because it's a nylon string, but the string spacing is closer to where you would see a steel string guitar. So the strings are a little bit closer together, which makes them easier to pick. Typical nylon strings, classical style guitars, those strings are further apart. So it's made to really finger pick on. Makes it a little bit more difficult to pick on. So this is kind of a hybrid guitar. So that's why I'm using this, and I waited till I got this until I did this lesson. All right, now before I get into it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell, like and comment, watch the lessons. Really helps. And if you really like what I do here on YouTube, you're gonna love my Guitar Academy. And you'll see a link to that in the description below. Free 7-day trial by clicking there. Academy has all my guitar courses, from complete beginner courses to more advanced courses on technique, improvisation, ear training, theory, you name it. I'll quit talking, let's get back to the song. All right, now, so I'm in standard tuning. I have a capo at the 2nd fret. If you're on the other side of the pond, you call this a capo, and I know people always mention that. It's pronounced differently in different parts of the world, so as are many things. Anyway, so you're gonna have to deal with me calling it a capo. Now, how I'm gonna do this also is usually when you do capo version type songs, when you call out the fret numbers, you're just comparing it as if this is the open strings, and so this is like 3rd fret in front of the capo, so this is the 3rd fret now. I'm not going to do that for a majority of this song because we are way up here, as you noticed in the performance at the beginning of the video. We are way up here for a lot of it, and it's really kind of stupid for me to go, hey, this is 12 frets in front of the capo. It's easier just to kind of see the actual fret markers of the guitar. So I'm going to actually call out the normal fret markers. We know when we get down here, we might talk about 1 fret up above the capo, but here I'm just going to call it the normal fret. It's just going to make things a lot easier. All right, so let's start here with this beginning. I'm going to play it through a little bit slower. All right, so remember, capo at the 2nd fret here. Now I'm up here, I'm going to be playing the 14th fret on the A string, 14th fret on the D, and the 13th fret there on the G. Now around that, all the remaining strings, the low E, the B, and the high E, they're going to be open. So you play that, and then you're going to pick across the strings. So I'm picking from the high E string all the way across to the D. And then, so I'm just alternate picking across strings. You can kind of do the kind of Al Di Meola way where he kind of just picks in the direction of the string. So it's got up, down kind of thing. I'm alternate picking across. So we have picking across 4 strings and then go back up to the high E string and just this time just pick across 3. So with this. And then you can pick those 3 notes that you have actually fingered and then slide up 2 frets and then strum across all those strings again, still the same open strings. And then he's just going to pick from the high E string just across 3 strings. And then we have this little. So he's doing the harmonic. So we can do a harmonic like it's a 12th fret harmonic, right? Because we have the the capo at the 2nd fret. So that 12th fret harmonic now is played at the 14th fret. So the harmonic at the 14th fret, then the open B string, and then the harmonic at the 12th fret on the low E. All right, now the next section. All right, so we're going to start here at the 9th fret on the A and the 9th fret on the D. You pick those together and slide them up to the 12. Now when you get to the 12, now put the 11th fret down there on the G string. We have the same chord shape we did up here, but now, so it's 12 on the A, 12 on the D, 11 on the G string. Now pick across all, still the same open strings. So the open, low E, B, and the high E. Now the picking pattern here is a little bit different. You're gonna pick across 4 strings first, and then you're gonna pick across 3 strings, but starting from the B string. So just B, G, D. It's really nice. And then we're gonna take this down to the 11th fret now on the A string, 11th fret on the D, and 9th fret on the G string, open B and open high E. So leave out the E there. Then just pick across the top 3 strings, E, B, G, and then we're gonna do this. So we're at the open A now, the 11th fret on the D, 11th fret on the G, open B, open high E. And slide that down to the 9th fret, letting those open strings still ring. And then you're just gonna play the open E, open A, 9 on the D, and 8 on the G. So all together. Sounds cool slow as well, but obviously he doesn't play this slow. All right, now we have to a very unique thing that Eddie's doing. He apparently he watched a lot of like Carlos Montoya videos and listened to some of his albums. And classical guitar has this tremolo picking technique where you kind of take your ring, middle, and index finger and you keep a consistent note going while the melody's really in the bass, being carried by your thumb. So he couldn't, unless you're a trained classical guitarist, that's very challenging to do. So Eddie wasn't, so he made do. He's a genius, that's what he does. So he used his patented, tremolo picking technique, which I don't do the fan technique like he does. But so anyway, he has this tremolo technique. He's playing the open high E string for the majority of this. Towards the end of this section, he will tremolo pick on the B and then the G real quick. But for most part of it, it's the high E string. So we know that's going on, and while he's doing that, he's hammering on a melody. So let's talk about the melody first. We know that tremolo picking's going on. Let's talk about the melody first. Now, so this melody uses open string at first, so you have to kind of pick the string. I use my index finger. You can use your middle finger or whatever, but you have to get the string started. So I just use my index finger and just pick the string, the low E string, and then we're gonna have. So after I get that string started, I hammered on the 6th fret there, 9, 10, then 14, 12, 10, 9. So with this. Now since you're already on the string, when it goes back to the open string, you can just pull off to the open. So with this. Now the second melody now, pull off to the open. So that's a little bit different. Now you can play that high note here, but when I see Eddie play it live, he generally goes up here and does he usually adds a lot of stuff to it there when he plays it live. But he kind of goes up the A string. I think he's wanting to keep it on the thicker strings. So that melody, open E, 6, 9, 10, and then 12, 14, and then go over to the A string, 12, 16. Also, Eddie does use his middle finger to do all the hammering too. All right, then start the low E again, and then come back up with a 6, 9, 10, and then we do it's kind of the same as the first time through. And then we just go. So here, he does that same 14, 12, 10. This is the third time through the melody. But he does that 14, 12, 10 twice. And then he works his way down to the 9th fret. And when he gets to that 9th fret, that's when the tremolo picking moves from the high E to the B string. And while he's doing that tremolo picking, so as soon as so we do this. So it's just 9, 10, 9. So after you hit on the 9, then you play the 9 again. And then it goes up to the 10th fret, and the tremolo picking, as soon as he hits the 10th fret, the tremolo picking is moved to the G string. So 10, and then from there go 10, 12, 10. He kind of plays those slow, more deliberate. So from here, so that's it for the tremolo section. It's mostly the high E tremolo, just keep that consistent going. And then right here, B string, G. And then from there we have this. Really nice. So it's gonna be, this kind of takes us out of the tremolo section. So he's playing the 12th fret there on the low E string, and then you can play the open D as well. 13th fret there on the G, open B, open high E string. So you strum that chord. So I'm muting the A string there. Just muting it with the bottom of my middle finger. And then as soon as I strum that chord, I'm just gonna pick from the high E, B, G. So just 3 strings. Then it goes to this new chord shape. So that is the 10th fret on the low E. Mute the A string with that same finger. 12th fret on the G. 12th fret on the D, 11th fret on the G, open B, open high E. So you strum across that, since you get that A muted, you won't hear that. And then here we're gonna pick across 4 strings, so from the high E all the way down to the D. And then we're gonna pick across 3 strings, but this one's starting from the B again. Kind of slows down there too. So B, G, D. All right, and then we get to this ending section of it, which looks like this. That's the first half of it. And then we're gonna start here at this. Now I'll call out the chords as if they were, since we're so close to the capo, it's just like an F chord, right? It's just 1 fret above. So first fret on the low E, so first fret above the capo, obviously. Changing it up on you. Then a 3rd fret there on the A and the D string. And then open B and G. So you're just gonna strum across there to the B string. And then we start this picking pattern. Picking across 4 strings, you're gonna do it twice. Then we're gonna move over here to the 2nd fret. Remember, 2nd fret in front of the capo, and the 4th on the A, and the 4th fret there on the D. And the G, B, and high E strings are going to be open. So the picking pattern, you're going to pick from the A string, D string, G string, then high E, all the way across back down to the D string. And then B, G, D. So kind of, he does slow down at the very end of that. Right there, it kind of milks it a bit. And then do it again. Really, really nice. So you basically did that same figure twice. And then we get to the ending. So that's open A, 3rd fret on the D, 5th fret on the G, open B, and high E. Now the picking pattern here, after you strum this chord, pick across 4 strings from the high E, 1 of the high E down to the D. And then here it's a little bit different. He picks the high E and then skips down to the G and the D the second time through that chord. All right, then just take this same thing and move it up 2 frets and strum the same strings again, open A and B and high E still in there. Then you're gonna pick just the high E and B open, and then take the note on the G string, move it down 1 fret, and play that chord. Same open strings around it. And he's gonna end it with 3 harmonics here. Now these harmonics, they're basically the 7th fret on the B and the back, just calling out the actual fret names. 7th fret on the B, the 9th fret on the B, and then the 7th fret on the high E. Now those are really 5, because it's 5 frets in front of the capo. That's why the harmonic works. So 5, 7, 5, but it looks like we're playing 7, 9, 7, because we are. And that is it for the intro of little guitars. It's extremely challenging. I know it's got some very odd techniques to it. The arpeggios are really difficult. The tremolo picking is ridiculous. And so it's a very challenging piece of music. Hopefully you guys will be able to work on it a little bit for the next couple of days, because then I'm going to release the main track, a full lesson to the main track, which is a lot of fun to play, and it's got some challenges of its own. So I'll see you then.